Welcome back. I am John Mutchler, the pastor of the Ferndale Alliance Church, and we are continuing our series on the Sermon on the Mount. We are in Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. This short little saying of Jesus, which goes like this: "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God." This is our second look at this verse, and I would like to begin by reading another verse. I'm going to read it at the beginning here and then read it at the end. It's Romans chapter 12, verse 18, which says this. I'm going to read it slow because it should sink in. "If it is possible, and as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone." Live at peace with everyone. I want to start by saying that peace is not the absence of conflict. We all have conflict, some people more than others. We also have a nature, and we looked at this the other day. We have a nature that's ripe for battle, for conflict, for disagreements, for fighting one another or what we want in our lives. The history of the world is the history of wars and battles. Our court system, our legal system, is full of lawsuits of people who, by the fact that they're there, it's an admission they couldn't work out their conflicts. Churches go through conflicts, and sometimes churches split or people leave churches, sometimes not even explaining why they've left, but they have not found a way to deal with the personal conflicts. Marriages break up. Ironically, today is our anniversary, 35 years that we've been together, because somehow we have figured out how to navigate conflict. But a lot of marriages do not, and I'm going to say this here. I've been the pastor here for about 32 years, and I think I've seen maybe five significant divorces, significant in terms of impact that they've had on our church, because these are families that we were very close to. And in each case, they've had systemic impact, negative impact on our congregation. And it's because we care. We're dealing with intimate and personal issues, and people tend to take sides, and they should take both sides in a marital conflict. That's a rule, by the way. We take both sides in a marital conflict. Not even to speak of the children and the impact that divorce has had on children. Just ask children of divorce, did your parents' divorce have any impact on you? So we are sort of hardwired for conflict, and we're not very skilled at dealing with conflict, and that's what we're talking about today. There are also some people that like to stir things up. They like to put fuel on the fire. They like to sow seeds of dissension. I think they have a special spiritual gifts, and I really do. They like to pit one person against another by saying one thing to one person that they know will create a rise out of the other person. They're skilled at dividing people, and this happens not just outside the church. I've seen it happen in the church, and it's destructive, and it's harmful, and it comes from a really dark, toxic place in people's lives. And then there are also some people that seem to skate through life really conflict-free. There might be two camps here. The first is just a very highly skilled group of people that manage their relationships really, really well, highly tuned sense of intuition and empathy and understanding, and they're just really, really good with people. However, I think most of the people who avoid conflict are people that avoid people. They're disengaged. These are people who just aren't engaged in any serious way with people. Or these are people that avoid controversy. They're not going to express an opinion on a weighty matter. So that means they're unconcerned. Or these are people that avoid confrontation because they're intimidated. They should say something. They should speak up about a cause or defend a friend or a person, but they're intimidated and they don't. Certain career paths are more ripe for conflict and confrontation. I'm reminded by my closest advisors, confidants, and friends that I've chosen a couple of career paths that are just full of conflict. I've been the pastor of this church for 33 years, and think about what a pastor does. We deal with the most personal and intimate and ethical areas of people's lives and their relationships. We deal with heavy and weighty stuff, and it's going to bring about disagreements that lead to conflict. I've spent 10 years as a public elected official. Government impacts people. Sometimes it's perceived as harmful to people, oftentimes. But what we do in terms of government policy, codes, zoning, taxes impacts people, and it's going to bring about conflict. Oddly enough, I have one career, a piano teacher, that has no conflict. Piano teachers don't have any conflict. The greatest conflict we have is a discord of an unresolved tritone that's played and not resolved correctly. So conflict does happen, and it really matters how we deal with it. So what I'd like to do is tomorrow we're going to start looking at the source of conflict, which begins with inner conflict. All of our outer conflict, all of it, begins with an inner conflict. And the best place that I can think of to deal with that is Romans chapter 7. And take a look at Romans 7. It's a well-known passage. We're going to look at it and unpack it tomorrow. And I want to close with the verse that I promised that I would close with, Romans chapter 12, verse 18. If it is possible, as far as it depends upon you, live at peace with everyone. May you be blessed as you not avoid conflict, but manage and handle conflict in a way that brings peace, brings God's blessings, and so that you might be called a child of God. Have a great day, and thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing this message with others.